Alright, hello everybody. This is Prep Phase League off stream for the Sunday matches. Whiteheart versus No Value is who we're looking at today. So they should be starting here any minute. Sorry about the late start, everybody. There was just a little bit of a thing going on trying to figure out who is going to be casting who. So let's pull it up here. Looks like teams are still getting ready and waiting for the picks to start. Alright, once again, I am Septimus, this is Mr. Saiyan.
Yo.
And here we go. Alright, so any moment now they should be starting on with their picks. And of course you can check out the main stream at twitch.tv/prepphase. And anything Atlas Reactor related you can find at prepphase.com, from guides to just some great videos on what is going on the competitive side of the game, such as right here.
Sorry about this, I'm having to do a lot of things at once.
Oh, no worries. And pull this up here real quick.
Hopefully the website will be working today so that the picks and bans will actually go through, and we're starting. Looks like the map will be Eva's laboratory.
Alright. So yeah, so waiting on the bans. So I'm curious, now with the timers going off there on both sides, is it like a simultaneous pick that goes on, or?
No, the timer is on both sides because it's actually very hard to just have it on one side.
Got it.
So at the moment, No Value are banning. The timer's going down 20 seconds, 19. So hopefully they'll ban sometime soon. Hopefully they know it's going on.
Yeah, I know there's been just a couple hiccups as of late, but you know, it is a very complicated site from everything that I have seen. I haven't been into anything web related in quite some time, but I wouldn't want to be on the back end of this for sure. So it
It's
looks
a little
like,
bit of a struggle.
yeah, it looks like we have a Rask coming as first ban from No Value. Really a good pick after some of the performance we saw going on yesterday with Rask just kind of tearing up some of the newer teams for sure. Of course, Whiteheart and No Value have been around for at least, I think, 2 weeks now.
Yeah, that is correct. Whiteheart is quite a new team, 2 weeks, led by a Noon Onyx. They were the contenders to beat Trash actually, but failed in doing such a thing.
That's right, and I thought they did have a pretty good standing in the beginning, but never really were able to quite pull it around after that. And of course, Whiteheart coming in with a Grimo ban. Actually, I don't disagree with a pick like that on Evos.
Not at all. Grima can hide behind walls. Got so many hiding places on that map and can just be a nuisance all around.
And I've especially seen lately where people are using that one half of the map that's basically just a big walk around to great advantage, while taking Grimo back there and just kind of running around, keeping out of range of anybody. And Lockwood snagging that, or I'm sorry, No Value snagging up that Lockwood as first pick. Pretty much a standard choice these days if it is left out in the open. And Aurora being picked up by Whiteheart as their first choice, taking their preferred support before No Value can get it away from them.
Surprisingly, Finn was still up and available. I do still lean towards Finn being so much better than Aurora, where Finn should be the one being picked first instead of the Aurora. But obviously they know something that I don't. So I want to see what that is.
Yeah, absolutely. So, looks like they're going for a Zuki pick second. I'm kind of curious to see where they're going with this particular composition.
Definitely. Leaving the Asana, the Celeste, the Helio on the board, but choosing to pick the Zuki.
Yeah, as opposed to, like you mentioned, going for Celeste or even, going for one of the preferred frontliners like Asana to go with Aurora there. So they've left no value with a lot of great picks on the table, and of course, there you go, snagging Celeste right away.
Celeste is still a must pick because she's able to get the buffs from so far away. She just brings so much to the table
I just
with
can't,
traps, smoke bombs, a
yeah,
dash.
I can't believe that Whiteheart would leave those two particular freelancers out on the table for no value to pick up. They must have something planned that we're just not privy to at this moment.
I do want to know what that is. I don't see Zuki in any way being a more priority pick than a Celeste and Nyx. So
Well,
definitely, I do want to know what they're thinking for this game.
so only 15 seconds left for them to pick their next Lancer, and they go with Rampart. Once again, very surprised.
We've been seeing a lot of Rampart recently. Very surprising as well, especially because the Sana's on the board, and of course my favorite Garrison's still on the board.
Yeah, and I actually just last night finished all the um, all the frontliners at 30 games won, except for Rampart. He's my next one to take down. I'm not looking forward to it because, frankly, I'm terrible with Rampart. I really haven't even seen his strength until I got brutalized by the dev team during the ranked team mode, and they used Rampart to great success, mixed along with a Grimo to just pull us through mines and Nyx traps and lay us wherever he wanted with that particular mod, and it was incredibly powerful. I had never seen him played like that before. And of course, no value once again taking up Asana because, and of course, Oz, which I'm
Which
not
is very
expect,
questionable.
yeah, not expecting
I
that as a fourth
really hate
pick.
Oz. Nyx is still on the table. Helio is still on the table. Finn is still on the table. Even Grey is still on the table. Why are they picking Oz, one of the weakest freelancers?
I wouldn't go so far as to call him the weakest. He's definitely the most underutilized. That is for sure. I know some incredible Oz players, and I've seen him used to great success, especially with powerful team comps like No Value has put together there. This could be a very interesting match to watch, and Whiteheart picking up Pup as their fourth. So,
I do think No Value's thinking was going with the Celeste and Oz combo where Oz is able to drop power-ups. So Celeste will be able to grab them and utilize them.
we have seen that before, and it was incredibly powerful, especially with that. I forget who it was playing each other. I know Guy Logic was one for sure, I believe. And they had Oz just in the corner, bouncing back and forth, dropping power ups left and right. Celeste had, I believe it was a round 4 ultimate ready to go after all the energizes they were able to pick up. Of course, both teams were playing an incredibly defensive match that round and gave them the ability to pretty much have the time to put that all together.
So just by looking at teams alone, again I'll ask the question, Whiteheart versus No Value, who will take the first game of the match?
I'm leaning towards no value just because they do have the stronger comp here with the Lockwood Celeste and Asana. That's just a great combo any day of the week. Oz, of
What I
course,
have
being
just noticed,
yeah,
I will have to interrupt you
yeah,
there.
yeah.
No Value choosing not to take a support.
You're right. That's the second time it doesn't pop out at me. You were absolutely right. Um,
But we did see it yesterday where Katadash actually chose not to take the
and
support,
it worked
but
out
actually
very
came away with a
well.
win.
Yeah, it
Yes,
worked out
definitely.
very well for him. So I still kind of have to lean towards no value. That is a very powerful composition. Asana can play a semi-support role if modded out properly. Of course, Whiteheart, even with the picks that they've done, have performed very well in the past, and I just have to assume that they have some sort of plan with that particular composition. They must have been practicing with that.
There must have been. Especially, I would lean towards no value as well because even though they don't have the support, they have the Lockwood dash, the Salel dash, the Asana dash, and the Oz that can switch places. They all can get in and get out at a moment's notice.
And of course, I have pulled up a picture of the map here for Evo's Laboratory. That was the picked map. Once again, we have 3 health power-ups, pretty much 1 in each corner on the north side, 1 in the center on the bottom, and 3 haste buffs, also mirroring the health there. 1 on the top and 2 on the bottom. 2 energize and 1 might right in the center for everybody to fight over. This is a medium-sized map, not quite as small as Cloudspire, but definitely not as large as Freighter. So we do see a lot of jump in there and just a little bit of fisticuffs going on once everybody kind of finds each other, followed by, the same kind of Freighter tactics where people will then run around. And looks like Evos was picked, but we are loading into Freighter. Check on that real quick. It looks like everybody's disconnecting here. So
looks like we will see a restart.
The wrong map was selected. So sorry about that delay, everybody.
I can't leave this game. Looks like I will have to outfall this to get out.
There's actually a menu button in the top corner. That
it wasn't allowing me to press the button.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Alright, and it is back up.
The cycle continues.
I'll be there shortly, just loading up the game now.
So once again, going to pull that overlay of Evos back up while we get ready, just in case anybody didn't quite see what was going on there. So in your opinion, who are you kind of leaning towards here? I know both Whiteheart and No Value are a pretty fairly matched team, so we can expect to see this to be a good match one way or the other. But who are you leaning towards just strictly based off composition?
Based on composition, I will have to go with the No Value. They have much more firepower, the better tank, and they're able to get in and get out at a moment's notice. But by going with the teams and what I've seen during the past weeks, I'll have to go with Whiteheart. They seem to know what they're doing. Noon Onyx seems to be a very good shot caller. He knows what he's doing, and I do believe he will be able to lead his team to victory.
Yeah, definitely one of the more experienced players around. He's been around in the community for quite a long time, very knowledgeable about the game as well. So, and it does look like we have a Classy Cat stepping in as a sub here today for Whiteheart. So, Classy is an incredibly good player as well, and I think will fill into that team probably with no problems at all.
I've seen Classy Cat before, and I do know he is a very good player. I'm yet to see him on the puck, but we'll have to see what goes on in this game.
So actually, now that I'm looking at it, most of these players are not on characters I typically see them on. Although Fruraz I know plays Amin Lockwood, but most players do these days. And Hashi, I believe the Oz was probably picked just for him.
I do know that Kelrick the Minion is classed as one of the best Rampart players in the community at the moment. I am excited to see Kelrick the Minion on this Rampart, and I do think he will be able to do a lot more work than the other Ramparts we have seen in the past games.
Well, that's good to know, because I do always like to see a good Rampart showing, mostly because I really want to learn how to play it myself. I really need to learn how to play that Rampart. So anybody who can play him very well. I'm always excited to see what they can do, what kind of tactics they're using. Just like I was mentioning earlier, getting beat up by the devs with a Rampart taught me more than I ever care to know about that character.
He's definitely one of the funnest frontliners to play. He doesn't have a great kit, but it's definitely fun to play, pulling people, stopping damage with his wall.
Alright, looks like we are starting up here on the correct map this time. And let's see where everybody heads to. Looks like Whiteheart holding their movements until the last second here. Both teams, really. There they come, starting to come out. Both very standard openings.
It does look like no value is going with a split up. We'll find them, then we'll group together.
Yeah, it does look like, yeah. So Whiteheart not quite splitting up as much, while no value choosing to kind of spread out a little bit more just for vision. And I don't believe that either team, no, neither team has vision on each other at the moment.
It's nice to see them hiding behind the wall instead of going up to the short cover so that the enemy team is able to see them.
That seems to be happening more and more, even in just the standard queued games. I don't see a whole lot of middle rushes anymore, especially with the introduction of Celeste just being able to steal those power-ups away. It's no longer a rush for the might. And of course, Noon catching 35 from that well-placed Lockwood large trap. So, first damage of the game.
It does look like we see a switcheroo from Classic Cat and Bright Shadow Wolf, although Bright Shadow did not see Classic Cat.
It does look like Classy is up here. Should be able to pull off some nice ambush damage from that position as Pup.
I'm curious to know why the Rampart is sticking towards the Aurora instead of going a little bit more forward. And we do see the wall, which is very... I don't see why he would use the wall this early on.
Well, honestly, probably because Aurora is out in the open, and he's probably just keeping Aurora around as a pocket healer, at least for now, although she is still caught with 24 from Bright off to the side, rooted in place as well. That's probably going to hurt their positioning, and Frura catching him from around the corner. That wall completely useless that turn.
It was a very questionable wall because both Lockwood and Asana was to the side. Lockwood can bounce off walls to get behind the Rampart shield, and the Asana was at the side anyway, so the wall was not able to do anything.
And look at that team play there. Classy Cat pulling Spent right into the middle of a big one, forcing him to dash away early in the game. Going to use that dash up. Unfortunately, they didn't try to go for a character without a dash, so they aren't forcing a catalyst like
they are unable to get a character without a dash, seeing as no values characters all have dashes.
That is a fair assessment. You're right. So, and of course, Classy jumping off for Hashi, knowing that Spent was going to be getting out of there, and of course, Neo getting caught by a Celeste trap there, and Bright going to town on Kelric and Noon Onyx with the Sonic. And Fruras with an excellent spray and pray, catching 3 members of Whiteheart there, and Bright getting knocked back from that heal. So
it does seem that no value do have Whiteheart on the run. Especially because Neo was at the wrong side of the wall. Whereas he should have known that there were freelancers near him. He should have known this, and he should have been on the other side of the wall, so that if anyone does choose to hit him, he's able to take negated damage.
Well, it does look like he is caught out in a fairly bad position here, because with only 10 health left, he's probably going to be the primary target here, I would think. And of course, Bright taking advantage of that bounce, just jumping right around Kelric there to go for Noon Onyx in the back. And Hashi throwing up a trap to catch Classy Cat, while Frura is doing a little extra damage from across the map, and Neo trying to throw a little extra damage on the Hashi to match up with Classic Cat. A lot of great focus fire coming in here, I believe. So at least 2 players hitting every single target that's being focused on.
Definitely. I don't actually have much to say because that was just a perfect round.
So yeah.
Everyone was doing definitely what they should have been doing.
So, and once again, both these teams have been around for several weeks. Both have had many practices together and doing quite a good job of showing that off. A lot of great team play. Classic Cat and Kelrick both catching a spray from Hashi there. Of course, Hashi going down to 13 and then taking a death from Zuki at 26. Classic taking another 20. And Spint getting caught in that Ion Cloud from Noon, who then takes 22 from Asana. And Furo's Captain Pup for another 34, while Spint chooses to split his damage and throw that out there. And see here, and Kelrick pulling Asana in for Pup to catch up to the next turn. Look at the team play. It's excellent right now.
I wonder why Noononix didn't choose to go closer to the wall. He's actually out in the open instead of being next to a wall, so that anyone that chooses to focus him is able to do the full amount of damage instead of being negated by the small wall.
Well, I'm curious about that myself, because Zuki was there dying the previous turn, but he could have still moved to that particular position.
I do think he did have the extra square to be able to take that health that turn.
I gotta say, it was a great move from Classy, going for Spint and dodging that ultimate from True. So now we have Spint at only 11 health, although does have the ultimate up, and everybody has just converged on this one corner. This is about to get ugly real fast.
That was a great move by Kelrick, opting to Catalyst into the fight to stop any hits going on to Noononix. He knows he's the rampart, he knows he's the wall, he knows he's a tank. Let's get in there, let's stop the damage going on to Noononix, and he did it perfectly.
And there he goes, just dropping that right there. Probably going to block the bulk of Spent's damage unless he decides to turn around and focus on Classy, which he did not. So instead, choosing to flash out of that situation, probably not a bad call. And Asana sticking around because plenty of health, gonna do a little extra damage to Classy, and Celeste still getting caught by that Pup ultimate. I'm not quite sure how that found her. It must have been just one of those pixel hits.
No, there was still actually a square that Pup was able to hit. Spence should have known this before he dashed away. There was no way he was able to dash from his position out of the Pup's ult. He should have stayed there, just took the death, kept his catalyst until he came back alive.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because now he's going to be coming back into the game with an ultimate after his team gets to beat up on these guys just a little bit more. And of course, Neo's big one, not hitting anybody. Those don't actually hit too often without any good teamwork going on. Bright taking a couple points away from Kelrick and Classy, both behind cover. Classy opting to do a walkies on True Ruz, who's then going to spray and pray both Noon and Classy, both of them at incredibly low health. Noononix just 2 health left, Classy with 43, and now in between 2 enemies. Of course, Kelrick is there with an ultimate, but he can only shield 1 if that is what he decides to do.
That was a very good round by No Value. They definitely knew where they were, what abilities they should have used, and they definitely used them correctly.
Yeah, like I have to say, both of these teams doing an excellent job doing some back and forth. Neither team necessarily outperforming the other.
I'll give you one shot.
And of course, just a great wall. Because of Bright Shadow's dash, he is able to block most of them except for the dash, which does catch him, and both of them taking 26 damage and another 36 from Pup. Bright Shadow now there with only, I believe, 19 health. Very low. Classy does survive that ordeal as well, but is followed by Bright, who I don't believe he can do enough damage to take down Classy this round.
There was definitely good focus from Whiteheart. With the Rampart ult, the Pup, and the Zuki able to hit them in range, that was definitely a good ult. They definitely put a lot of damage down.
Looks like Classy is opting just to get out of there, going invisible. I'm not sure if he took the dash mod, but Bright getting out as well, using his ultimate simply as an escape. And still catching 32 from Zuki. Kelrick doing 25 to Oz even after. Oh, he didn't use his ultimate, my mistake. And Spent also dashing out of there. A lot of dashes that turn, just trying to avoid damage.
A lot of dashes. I would say Bright Shadow Wolf should have, if he wanted to use his ult to get out, because he knew that his teammate Celeste was dashing away, he should have opted to go for the Oz, to go into safety away from that 32 damage.
So yeah, and I'm not really sure what all the dashes were about there. Obviously, Bright wanted to avoid death, but with the other team up 3-1, it seems like they could have gotten a couple better plays out that turn. And Bright doing 24 to Neo. And Whiteheart and No Value both securing one more death for the board apiece. And of course, Kelrick grabbing Spent, bringing a Celeste with an ultimate right next to him while he only has 43 health available to him.
Bright Shadow definitely chose to do the wrong ultimate. Going straight into the damage, putting himself in the middle of the map, it was definitely the wrong choice. I do want to know what was going through his head when he chose to do that. I don't understand it at all.
He does, however, have a shield available to him, so maybe he can get Spent to waste this ult. So I'm kind of curious to see how this will play out here. Spent is an excellent player. I don't believe he'll fall for that.
Spent should have seen the wall, so if he does ultimate, he knows what he's done wrong.
And there he goes, going for the smoke bomb, which goes right over the wall and snagging Classy Cat at the same time. Kelrick does gain 10 health, but then loses another 36, leaving him at 7 health. If it wasn't for that one shot from the corner, he would actually be dead that turn, and it would have been game over, which I believe it is this turn anyways.
This will be over. Kelrick doesn't have a way to escape, and Furze is just on him. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong teams. Very sorry.
Alright, so Noon throwing a heal out for Classy, just trying to keep any more deaths from getting up on the board, although I don't believe they'll be able to prevent that from happening, especially with Kelrick being in the position that he is. Neo throwing out the ult just so he can use it. Classy catching 29. Once again, throwing out that ult just to say he didn't waste it. And Kelrick goes down right there with 2 abilities from both firepowers, putting Whiteheart at 5-3. Or no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got it wrong last turn as well when I started talking.
I thought that they were at 4-3 apiece. That must have been a graphical bug going on there. So, okay, so teams are at 4-3 now. My apologies. And of course, they all are converging onto the corner here. With Fruruz being out in the side with his ultimate available to him, and Spent still holding on to that ultimate. Looks like they're going to be using it this turn. And Noon Onyx appears to be the focus of all their hate. So, Classy going for that Oz who didn't dash. Looks like they just picked the wrong target here because nothing hit at all. They did catch Bright with that Ion Cloud, only for 20 though.
Hashi did make the right choice by using his catalyst to get out of there. No Value know they're in a bad spot, so they have to be making smarter calls than they have been for now. They need to get a target and focus them down.
So, and it looks like Whiteheart is just going to be trying to get out of the situation that they're in, prevent any kind of damage. I think they were expecting Fruruz to use his ultimate there, although he did hold on to it, which was a smart move on his part.
I am the Thresher.
And Bright doing a swing, not catching anybody with it. Not a lot of damage being put out in these last 2 rounds at all.
4 turns remaining.
It does look like Luck was just walking around being scary, knowing that his ultimate is up.
Yeah, there is a lot of mind games that have been going on with people holding their ultimates lately. I'm actually really impressed to see people opting to hold their ultimates and, you know, try to just play with people's minds, force their catalyst and dash while just kind of chasing them around. And of course, Neo down to only 3 health. If he can get one more hit on him, this will be over. I'm sorry, it won't be over. I've been looking at the wrong games. Yeah, this is... So, okay, so... Yeah, we tied up at that point.
3 turns left.
I do believe that Neo is in a very bad position. I don't believe he has his catalyst, so that will be Furz able to get Neo.
Of course, Kelric does have his ult available to him this turn, though I'm not sure if he can reach Neo to save him in time.
They do have vision on Hashi, so the Rampart should be opting to get the Celeste and the Oz in his ultimate.
So it does appear like No Value has been turning this around fairly well. And just healing Kelric up for another 10. Ion Cloud going out to damage Hashi no matter which way, even if he had dashed. And Neo eating it to tie up the game. No Value and Whiteheart 4-4.
Definitely a very exciting game. I did believe this game would have been over about 3 turns ago, but No Value has been able to bring it back 4-4, being 4-2, just about 4 turns before.
And looks like Hashi's kind of stuck out in a bad spot with no switch available to him, and he used his catalyst just a few turns ago.
This does look like it will be the decider.
So I don't believe there's... Yeah, they're throwing out the good games already, so they must know that this is the end here. Hashi's about to take a bite from Pup, which will just be more than he can handle. Not to mention that Ion Cloud.
Very good game, very good plays coming out from both teams. I don't have much to say of the faults of the players. There were a few mishaps here and there, but overall, both teams playing fantastic, and this is definitely the best game we've seen this weekend so far.
I absolutely agree with that. I think the biggest mistakes made here were me looking at the wrong teams for points. But great teams, both sides playing very well against each other. I mean, if you look at the contributions, it kind of speaks for itself. Everybody's damage is above, you know, 225. Even the tank, even the healer. So
it does look like Asana was able to out heal Noon Onyx on that Aurora.
That was right. Wow, not by a whole lot, but yeah, that effective shielding really came in handy. Was able to pull off support Asana very well. And of course the damage on the other team, everybody about 325 and above, with Fruruz as Lockwood coming in just right under 500. Excellent play right there. And I gotta say, that Pup, Classy Cat, 517 damage, 0 deaths as a Pup, very impressive.
I will give the Pup the MVP. Classic Cat played a fantastic game, going all around the map. He knew who he wanted to be on, and he did the correct amount of damage. He knew when to ult, getting fantastic ults off in the game twice in a row.
And
Can't fault it. Classic Cat definitely MVP for this game.
yeah, for sure. And taking just about as much damage as both Kelrick and Noon Onyx without having any kind of sustainability really to himself besides that bite, which honestly is just good for a little bit here and there.
Little bit, but it was in the positions where he was able to hit more than one target. So that's still 20 health.
So yeah, very effective use of pup there. Very impressed by both teams. Cannot wait to watch this second match now that they both had a chance to regroup and see what's going on, see what the other team is bringing to the table.
I do think that No Value should opt to have a support. I would like them to bring out the Finn.
I think that may have been the difference there. If they had chosen to go with the support, they might have been able to pull off a little bit more sustainability and may have even taken the match.
The sustain would have been better for them, and they definitely, I do believe they would have been able to take that victory.
So, all right, and I do believe right here we're going to take a quick 5-minute break while the teams regroup, and we will catch you back shortly for Whiteheart versus No Value Match 2 in the Prep Phase League. Thanks for watching, and we will be back shortly. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are here for match 2, Whiteheart versus No Value. Pulling up the picks and bans now. So they are on Flyaway Freighter. And of course, Whiteheart and No Value, once again, going for the exact same bans that they went with before, with a Grimo and a Rask. They just really do not want to see those two Lancers in the game. And
Ras did cause a storm yesterday in the matches when he did manage to get through for most of the games. They must have seen this and realized, okay, we don't want to deal with Rask. Let's just get rid of him.
Well, and honestly, he's just a smart pick to ban if you don't want to deal with that kind of a very aggressive frontliner. And Whiteheart coming away with a pretty strong composition again. Of course, going with a double frontliner with no support. Once again, going to try for that support Asana. I believe that No Value tried last time.
Very surprised that instead of choosing a support, they went for the Titus pick. I don't think it's the right move, and I do think it will bite them this game.
It's possible.
With No Value, will take the win.
It's possible. Titus does have some fantastic mods for self-sustainability. I have been able to play him with great success using all the heal mods, as well as being able to throw Might up for his other team with that 3-point shout. And of course, No Value coming in with Azuki Celeste, Garrison, your personal favorite, I'm guessing.
Personal favorite,
and,
Garrison.
Dr. Finn, of course, and of course the game popping in right now. Let's go take a look at that.
Hopefully we do see the Garrison has the root mod to help get the Finn and the Zuki big one.
Yeah,
going out.
It's just, I think, probably one of the best mods to take for that Garrison jump if you're playing with a coordinated team like we're going to see today. So, based solely off composition, who are you leaning towards this match?
Definitely going to have to go with No Value. The team just looks so strong with the Celeste, the Finn, the Garrison, and the Zuki.
They do have the more traditional composition for sure. Once again, Whiteheart, they have to have a plan for what they're going with. We weren't quite sure about the Oz last match. It was played, very well though.
Very well, but I don't see that they should have picked it. They should have gone with a better. Nyx was still on the table. They could have took the Helio and gone Battle Helio. Still don't like the Oz.
So, and of course, both teams chasing each other around the map at the moment. No vision on either team. And of course, looks like the names are wrong. Let me fix that real quick. But yeah, it looks like No Value is just all staying in that back bush there, just staying invisible.
Definitely, they're probably saying in the comments, this is our corner, let's keep it, let them come to us, we'll surprise them, we'll take you down to half health the turn you come close to us.
So, and of course, just lots of misses here. They are leaving Dr. Finn out. That is a nice bait, I have to say. I am looking forward to see if that is going to play out for them or not.
Definitely. I do think they should have had someone else as the bait and not the Dr. Finn. The Dr. Finn should have been in the back. Well, maybe the Zuki or the Celeste should have been the bait. They definitely shouldn't have put the Garrison as the bait. But we'll see how it goes out.
I don't know. I think if you put a support out there, the other team is going to be more likely to run towards it than a character that has an available dash to them.
Noon Onyx choosing to use his route as just to try and predict where they are. Definitely the wrong move. He should have kept it. It should have been like, they might be here, they might not. It's not worth using a cooldown ability to check.
And yeah, I do have to say, playing Asana, once I really got the hang of her, that is one of the things I learned really quickly. Save your dashes, save your routes. Those have a 4-turn cooldown, and you always seem to need them right after you've wasted them.
It's not worth it to use it to predict when they have no vision on anyone. Definitely the wrong move. Don't know what was going through his head. Here we go, the walking in. Asana and the Titus caught out completely.
And of course, yeah, now Frura's stuck in between Noon Onyx and Kelric. Kind of where you want to be as a frontliner, especially with the rest of your team surrounding them. They may not even know that they are there. Actually, yeah, they do have vision on everybody because that bush was disrupted. And with Kelric in that bush, they have full vision on everybody now.
Bright Shadow choosing to use his heal instead of doing more damage to Noon Onyx and the Titus. Bright Shadow should have been doing the damage onto him, onto both of them even.
Come any closer.
They should have chosen to do as much damage as they could this turn.
It looks like they are still dealing out quite a bit. Of course, those shields from Noon playing that support Asana going to mitigate quite a bit of it.
I'm unsure if Ferez knows, but you are able to get such an angle where you would be able to hit both of them, but he only managed to hit one of them. So he should have played around with the angle a little bit more.
And it does...
Again, it looks like Kelric and Noon are caught out, but in fact, No Value are actually the ones caught out in this situation when they should have been the one in charge of this.
Yeah, I agree with you there. They've got both Hashi and Spent, their two firepowers, stuck out there, kind of in a firing zone for the other firepowers, Classy and Neo. And everybody, all the dashes happening. Looks like Fruit is still caught by that spray and pray. And getting two rockets off to hit both Kelric and Classy, who appears now to be the target.
With Ferez taking the Rooted Mud, that Nyx is definitely out of position. They've turned this around in a split second, so that No Value definitely has the advantage.
Of course, Hashi on the other side of the map, I'm surprised he didn't move closer to where the rest of his team was heading towards.
Definitely the wrong choose to dash out. He's now away. The Titans can follow him. He has to use his catalyst because his actual dash is on a 6-turn cooldown.
Yeah, that is a long time for a Zuki to get caught out. So, and looks like slow mod on that big one, having a little graphical error, not actually seeing where it's being laid down except for the very center. But you guys should probably know about where it's laying out towards, 2 squares in either direction of that hazard symbol in the center there. And of course, Classy taking a beating here. And
Classy should have chose to dash out. There was no reason to stay in this situation. Use your catalyst, it is worth it. Get out of that fight, you're taking too much damage.
And of course, Hashi being chased by Kelric, who, because he ran into that bush the way he did, is still in range, but has a better chance to get out of there. Especially... No, I'm sorry, Kelric did take that haste, so he will catch up to Hashi with no problems. Classy might have to go ahead and use his catalyst here if he hopes to get out of this alive.
Classy should be choosing to save his catalyst. He should have used it last turn. If he uses it this turn, definitely a waste.
So, and of course, Kelric throwing that dagger at Hashi. Classy opting to go ahead and use that catalyst, stay alive, now invisible, so able to escape quite easily.
It definitely was the wrong move. He should have used it last turn. Very disappointed in the calls coming out from Classy Cat.
I don't know if I totally agree with that. As a Nyx with the invisibility along with that catalyst, you are able to get away and heal back up, especially if you've got the heal mod, which it appears he does.
But if he used it last turn, he was able to get away with full health virtually.
So it looks like Bright having to throw his bubble on Hashi there just to keep him alive, while Class is going to be opting to move for that might. So, or actually doesn't look like he can quite make up his mind, going for the energize now. And see, there it is. There's that bubble going to keep Hashi alive. It appears Mr. Saiyan has disconnected. And, are you still there?
I'm still here, yeah.
All right.
I have no idea what just happened.
Yeah, it looks like you disconnected from the game, but you should be able to reconnect. And of course, Spent throwing out the smoke bombs there, keeping a little vision cover, and Kelrick hitting both Hashi and Bright Shadow with his swing. A lot of ults starting to pop up here now on turn 10 and 11. I see 3 in a row right here. Kelrick in a great place to use that Titus ult. He might catch 3 members of no value with it. Probably going to be rooting 2 of them. And of course, Bright Shadow not in too shabby of a place himself.
Stand firm.
And Noononyx jumping right into the middle of him, dealing 35 damage to kill Hashi and bring Bright Shadow down even further. Classy dealing 34 to Spent to Celeste, who thought she might have been in cover. Sticky on Noon for 30, and there it is, the Titus ult dealing 50 to Hashi, who was already dead, and 40 to Bright Shadow. Neo coming out with a spray and pray to finish that off and do a little bit of damage to Spin as well. And catching them, Bright catching them both in a whirlpool there, taking Noononyx all the way down to 17 health. And just completely clustered up still. Once again, 3 players right in a row there. 2 of them with their ults up. And we've got Noononyx, who really should have used that ult to kind of get out of dodge, because that was just a bad place to be with that kind of a low health. Here goes Neo, only hitting Spent with that because Furaz decided to fed her out into Noon.
Not so safe now.
And
Are you?
Spent using his ult to just deal massive damage to Classy Cat, leaving him with a small amount of health. Noon surviving with 2 health. I can't believe it. That Leech Blade barely saving his life. And Spent and Hashi both taking a death.
Gonna give it my all.
Did I call that right? I'm sorry. Spent and Bright both taking a death from Classy Cat's ultimate. 62 damage apiece, just tearing them down. So that makes a 3-turn lead for Whiteheart. They are just playing excellent this match, not letting any of the mistakes they made in the previous match come to life.
Oh, welcome in.
Noononyx opting to use his catalyst with only 13 health, getting out of dodge. And Kelrick and Fruraz just kind of duking it out back and forth there. And Fru able to steal that health away. I'm sorry, Kelrick able to steal that health away from Fruraz, who is now sitting on his ultimate. And of course, so is Hashi McDabs playing Zuki. So still a couple ultimates left on the table.
And with all the graphical bugs, I am back, and I do actually see 2 Noon Onyx on the field.
Yeah, you'll probably want to do a reboot after this match, because I was running into similar issues yesterday.
There is
Definitely.
So of course Hashi catching a dagger there, Noon catching a root jump from Fruraz, and Spent just grabbing that health just to make sure no one else can run over to it. Of course, Noon down to 14 health, and Hashi securing the first kill for no value by taking out Nyx. And Noon is not in a great place as well. Looks like he does have a dash up though, so hopefully he'll be able to get out of there. And of course, Hashi sitting in the center. Not a bad place to use your ult, in my personal opinion here. I believe he would be able to hit 3 members of the enemy team with it. And a little bit of heals coming out from Bright from the back. Kelrick dashing on Hashi to take use of that dagger. And Fruraz taking just a ton of damage here, only left with 28 health. I'm surprised that Kelrick didn't go for Fruraz to finish him off, because that would have left him with, I believe, only 4 health that turn. And of course, Noononyx, as a Sauna, dying that turn to secure a second kill for no value. So once again, coming in with a giant cluster for both teams, just duking it out. This has been a brutal match in the second half.
I've I've got the secret.
Spin throwing a trap out there, just hoping someone will walk into it. Fruruz is everybody's new favorite target, now with only 7 health left. That bubble saving his life just barely. And of course, no value, going to focus on Kelrick, taking him down to tie it up 3 for 3. And Fruruz just not in a great position here. It looks like he is going to be a target for both Neo, who I believe can reach him, maybe not. But regardless, right in line for Nyx, who will be easily able to take him down. And Spent quite out of position here on the other side of the map from where everything is happening. Fruruz opting to use that turtle tech. I'm not sure if it'll be enough to save him while Zuki is using her ultimate just to hit Neo, who had a dash up. 2 ultimates wasted on a Lockwood with an available dash. I'm not sure I understand what the reasoning was behind that. And now Fruruz is still caught out in the middle with 5 health left, most certainly going to take a death this round. And of course, the entire team of Whiteheart clustered up in that corner, taking a defensive position, securing the kill on Fruruz, and probably going to retreat back in there just to wait the rest of the match out. And Kelrick kind of moving in to accept quite a bit of damage from both Fruruz and Hashi, just to keep the rest of his team from taking any, although most of them do appear to be behind cover.
2 turns left.
And we now have Kelrick here with an ultimate available to him. With Neo throwing a trap out just to try and catch anybody. Let's see where they're gonna move to. Yeah, looks like Whiteheart is staying fairly well grouped up, trying to keep that killing field open.
This one.
Kelrick throwing a dagger onto Spin. And a big one coming out from Hashi. Right there, about where some of the players of Whiteheart are moving, although I don't see it going to be hitting any of them. Noon catching some eels and a little bit of damage from Spent as well. And Spent picking that might up, going to
Final turn.
stand in his own trap, which then just disappeared. Let's see. Of course, Noon and Kelrick and Neo all have an ult available to them. They may be able to secure that final kill even here in the final round if they use those all wisely.
Change of plans.
And Noon looks like they are going to be going after Hashi McDabs back there in the corner as Zuki.
I got a surprise for you.
All the good games going out already. It looks like No Value has accepted the fact that they will be unable to secure a win with this game. And there goes Hashi for the 5th kill. An excellent use of coordinated ultimates.